Here's a video of our new truck camper that I just completed building. Been building it in my piano shop over the last 6 months and just got it mounted on the truck last weekend. So it's been on about a week now. And this is a design that is based on a camper built by Dave Mason of Endgame Campers, and he has a YouTube channel under that name, Endgame Campers. And Dave graciously allowed me to use aspects of his design from his camper 7.0 to make this camper. So I'll just show I'll do a walk around first here and show the various panels. We painted the graphics on the two sides and the front. Let's zoom in on that a little bit. That's a bear family there. Coming around to this side, we have two people in a canoe. We were going to use decals, but because the camper has some texture to the finish, we weren't confident that the decals would stay adhered, so we decided to paint them by hand, which took us 2 or 3 hours for each panel because neither Margaret nor I are really visual artists. They came out looking pretty nice. This is mounted on our 2017 Ford F-150 four-wheel drive. And this camper is intended to be for road tripping and cross-country travel. We'd like to go many places, including the Grand Canyon and Yellowstone and other places, and this will allow us to have our own short-term accommodations while we're traveling. Coming around to the back, you can see that the camper fits completely inside the bed of the truck, so the tailgate can be closed. That provides a little extra security because the lock on the tailgate is actuated whenever the doors of the truck are locked. Here we have this black round fitting there. That's for our external electrical power plug-in. And then of course we got a couple of outlets for the outside. On the door, if I can zoom in on that some. It doesn't really zoom very well. We have a residential lock set and deadbolt, either of which can be opened by a key or with a code. So it's quite secure. Our truck has the built-in tailgate step along with the vertical post for grabbing a hold of, which makes it nice and handy for quickly getting into the back. But those are kind of deep steps, so we bought a lightweight aluminum step ladder that makes it really easy to just climb right up and get into the camper. Several people asked me about the exterior finish of the camper, wanting to know if it's fiberglass. And it is a type of fiberglass. It's called poor man's fiberglass, which is a matrix of exterior wood glue, Titebond wood glue in this case, and then you can use canvas or some other kind of material. I used landscape fabric, so I applied thick coat of glue and then put landscape fabric right into that, and then more glue over it, and then when that dries overnight, you sand it and then do another coat, and you do that 2 or 3 times, and then coat it with several coats of exterior latex paint, and then I ended up by hand rubbing it all to give it a nice sheen. On a sunny day you can see the reflection quite nicely, but it really turned out pretty nice. We liked the lines of the camper, and again, this was inspired by Dave Mason of Endgame Campers. I wouldn't have probably come up with this design on my own, but I was so taken when I saw his video on YouTube about his camper that I copied it basically. So now coming to the interior of the camper. This cabinet on the right by the door, houses our chemical toilet, which can be brought out to be used whenever needed. On the left side right here is a 6-gallon freshwater tank that supplies water to our USB rechargeable faucet. Right above the water tank is our EcoFlow power station that provides 110 volt and 12 volt power, so we can be off grid. And up here we have a microwave oven. These outlets here, the ivory or almond, whatever they are, colored ones, are the ones that are coming from the EcoFlow power station. The dark brown ones are shore power. That's directly coming in from the outside. And there you see the dimmer switch for our overhead lights. So coming on inside, with such a small camper, it's kind of hard to get perspective. This table functions in several different ways. It's of course what we will use for sitting and eating and playing games, and it can also, it's on a lagoon type mount, so it can be pivoted and swung around. It can be used for extra countertop space. Whenever it's time to retire for the night, the table can easily and quickly be lifted right off, and we'll store it down under there. And the horizontal member of the mount comes off very easily, and the vertical column drops right down to the floor, and then this cushion right here goes in this space to complete the bed, which makes it a 30-inch wide by 6-foot long bed. And you see we've already got some pillows and things placed in here. We have a bedside lamp for each of the beds, and there's also a USB outlet on that light, and then we have a USB rechargeable fan by each of the beds. Here there wasn't room for a hinged door, so I made a sliding door, and the cabinets all have physical catches to hold the doors shut when we're traveling down the road. We have quite a bit of storage space in here. These cushions, we made those. Margaret does quite a good job as a seamstress, and so she was able to make the covers for the cushions. Getting them on was a bit difficult, but we managed it. We have curtains on all the windows, which matches that second bed, and that little retaining dowel right there will hold the curtain tight up against the window frame, just to not let much light in, and it may provide the slightest amount of insulation value. Up beyond the overcab bed, we have quite a bit of storage in front of that, going up into the nose of the overhead. And of course, here's the bedside lamp and the USB fan for that bed. We don't have our refrigerator in yet. We're going to order that today, and that will go right there. That'll be one of the horizontal refrigerators, 12 volt. The lid opens up from the top. This is our USB rechargeable faucet, and here's our sink. And the sink goes into a rather small gray water bottle right there. That holds 2.5 gallons, but we figure that's probably all we're going to need. We will have our water usage down to pretty minimal needs. Up in the front here, there is a door on each side that gives access to the ratchet straps that secure the camper to the truck. In front there are 2 on each side, and one goes to the tie-down point in the bed of the truck, and then another one goes through a knockout in the front of the bed and down and attaches to the actual frame of the truck. And then in the back there's one ratchet strap tie down on each side. So there's a total of 6 tie down points. You see the Pink Panther there. I decided not to cover that up. There wasn't really any need for it. And so this will be storage. We're going to have some bins down in there holding all kinds of things that we use. So there. And of course we have cabinet space under the sink. Quite a bit of storage. I may put a shelf in there. Down below we will probably use bungee cords or something to hold some pots and pans in place. And of course our lighting in here, these are 12 volt LEDs, and as I said, they're on dimmers, so you can see when I dim that one down. This camper is very strong, very strongly constructed. These studs here that you see, that consists of 3 layers of 1/2-inch plywood glued and bonded together. These exterior studs are actually 2.5 inches deep, and there's 1.5 inches of XPS foam, and then a 1/2 inch airspace, and then the interior plywood panels. And on the roof and the ceiling, those parts of the beams, that is 3 inches deep there, and there is 2 inches of XPS foam bonded to the exterior 1/4 inch plywood, and then there's about a 1/2 inch airspace, and then the interior plywood. So again, fairly well insulated. And so with the 3 layers of plywood that I made, the columns and the beams out of it. I cross-laminated those on the corners. These are all 45 degrees, and so with cross-laminating them, and everything's glued and fastened together very securely, that's a very strong construction. These trim pieces here on the roof, I just ripped some of the 5mm plywood and sanded it and coated it with urethane. And I made everything accessible. I use very, very small screws. Here you can see one there and there, so that if I ever need to gain access inside the walls to do anything with the electrical wiring, I can do that. The cabinets were built in place, but they are removable if I want to. So I would be able to remove them to get back behind the panels. I don't foresee needing to do that, but I just kind of like to have things accessible in that way. The cabinets, it's a very simple construction. The end panels are made out of the 5mm plywood, and the stiles, the framework, and then the framework on the doors, those are all cedar, made from cedar fence pickets. I ripped them to width and beveled them, and then sanded, finished, and then glued them together to the 5mm panels to make the doors. So it's a very simple construction, but effective and quite lightweight. For a stove, a cooktop, we have a dual fuel single burner cooktop, and probably I suspect that a lot of times we may swing our table around and put the burner on there, just as a way of extending our countertop. But that single burner stove can be stowed away, very easily. A number of places we could put it. As I said, we're still working out some of the final details. I still have to put an outlet in here that we're going to have a night light in there. Our exhaust fan is 12 volt, so it's reversible, so it can bring air in or push air out. Looking forward to taking it on its maiden voyage soon. This is just going to be for road tripping and going cross country, where we can have very short-term accommodations and be able to stay in places like Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome, places like Cabela's and Cracker Barrel, rest stops. And of course, we'll have access to showers at Planet Fitness as we're traveling. So this is all new for us, and we're trying to learn all the ins and outs, things that we need to do and plan and provide for. So there you have it. If you have any questions, you can leave it in the comments down below the video. I'm making a second video showing the photo montage of the process of building it, which took me 6 months. I started in late October of 2023 and moved it out and mounted it on the truck the last week of April of 2024. So it was just about exactly 6 months. We still have a few little odds and ends. I'm going to make some shelves right there that'll hold spices and such. And we have to coordinate that with the refrigerator door opening up to make sure that there's clearance there. And then over here there will be a shelf under this cabinet that will have various things on it. So that's it. Thanks for watching.